What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and today we are talking about the brand new movie, Plane. Now, Plane is a movie about an airplane that gets hit by lightning and crashes into a jungle. And then once it crashes into the jungle, you find out that the crash was only the beginning, mostly because it takes place in the beginning of the movie, but also because now the survivors must fight for their lives against the evil separatists and renegades on the island who are trying to kill them, or hold them for ransom and then kill them. Get the idea. Let's do the review.
We're getting off this island.
And so, guys, the movie Plane is directed by Jean-Francois Richet, and it stars Gerard Butler as Brody Torrance. Brody Torrance is an airplane pilot for Trailblazer Airlines, and it is New Year's Eve, and he has to make a couple of stops. Then he's going to land in Honolulu, where he's going to spend the holiday with his daughter. At the same time all of this is going on, you've got Mike Colter's character of Louis Gaspar, who is an wanted FBI fugitive who is being brought in and extradited, and he's going to be on this plane and get off at the next stop with the FBI agent that he's traveling with. He's wanted for murder, he's killed someone. They're very vague about what happened in his past. You find out he did kill someone, but it was many years previous, and they never really go into it more from there. He's just basically the strength in this movie. That's what I'll call him. But yeah, basically the synopsis for this movie is the plane goes up, the plane gets hit by lightning, the plane crashes, and then they have to survive till an extraction team can get them out of there. And then the very end has a fantastic shootout. It really does. I loved the shootout at the end of this movie. But that's pretty much all the movie I can tell you. There's some other things that happen, but I don't want to go into spoilers, so let's get into my likes and my dislikes. First thing I like about this movie is that it is extremely straightforward. When I tell you it is about an airplane, gets hit by lightning, lands in a jungle, they have to fight to survive, the movie ends, boom, an hour, 40 minutes, it's done. I appreciated that. I feel like this movie could have gone on for 2.5 hours. I feel like somewhere someone would have been like, oh, now have a lion attack them. Yeah, have like a totally different angle where they got to survive over here. Oh, let's cut away from this action scene and do an action scene over here. Like, they don't do any of that. And I appreciate that. This movie is very straightforward. What you see in the trailer is what you're going to get in this movie. It's not going to deviate from that very much at all. And I really appreciate that for a January action flick. Like, I want to come in, I want to see an action movie, I want to enjoy it, and I want to go home. And that's what they give you, so I really like that about this movie. I told you earlier there's a final shootout that's fantastic, and it really pays off, so I put that in my likes for this movie. I really like the final shootout. I can't say enough. There's this guy who's shooting this gun that, like, knocks people off their feet. Give me an hour and 40 minutes of that, I would have been just as happy. And then finally, for my final like of this movie, Mike Colter is an absolute powerhouse. I loved watching him with a sledgehammer. There's a scene where he's got a sledgehammer, and it is brutal, and everybody in my theater was like, oh, every time he used it. Getting into my dislikes, guys, there is a passenger that really irritated me, and at first I felt like he was supposed to. Like, he was snobby, he gets in the airplane, he's got things to say, he's kind of a dick. And so you understand, okay, this guy is probably going to be fodder for the bad guys later, but he's not. In fact, at one point, he gets shot in the leg, and I'm like, I don't care. That guy was a dick. And I don't feel like I should have felt like that at that moment in time. Like, they were making their final escape, and he gets shot in the leg, and he lives, but he gets shot in the leg. And I was like, I just feel like any sympathy I might have had for that one guy in particular, even in this horrible situation, he was too much of a dick throughout the rest of the movie for me to even care. So I could have either done without that character or given that character a little bit of a better arc. Like, toward the end of the movie, he actually does something good or brave. But no, he's just a dick all the way through the movie, and then this character gets shot. And I'm like, okay, well, why wasn't he one of the ones that was killed? Why did he live? Like, it just didn't work for me. And the other thing I'll say for this movie, something I kind of noticed here, it seemed like Mike Colter was cast to take the pressure of the action flick off of Gerard Butler. Like 10 years ago, if you told me Gerard Butler was in an action flick, I'd have been like, oh, he's going to run this thing. Like, he's going to kill so many people. Like he did in Olympus Has Fallen, and London Has Fallen, and Angel Has Fallen. Like, those were his action movies. He killed everybody in those movies. But then you get to this movie, and like, he's the airplane pilot, and Mike Colter's the wanted man. And I feel like after one scene that Gerard Butler has where it's hand-to-hand combat, Mike Colter really just takes over being the powerhouse. And while that's a like for this movie, I think he's fantastic in it, it was just weird seeing, like, Gerard Butler pass the torch. So I say it's in the dislike column. I don't know really where to put it. It just felt off. It felt weird. It was like, this is Gerard Butler action flick, but really it's a Gerard Butler airplane flick, while Mike Colter, it has an action flick. And with that said, I'd like to see Mike Colter in more things going forward. But it felt like a passing of the torch almost. That was me. Overall, guys, I will say The Plane is a fun time. It's an action flick that gets right to the point, and by the end of the movie, you feel pretty satisfied with what you were given. And honestly, I can't ask for much more. out of an action movie than that. Is it a movie I'll personally come back to anytime soon? Probably not. But if it's a movie I ever see playing somewhere, I might just watch it. I don't know. That's me. And that's my review for Plane. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit the like and the share button. If you've seen Plane and you've got thoughts and you've got comments, put that in the comment section down below. And my question to you guys is, what is your worst airplane experience? If you've been on an airplane, how bad was your experience? I think the worst it's ever been for me is when I got delayed like 6 hours on one end and then 6 hours on the other end and then a canceled flight. Like, that sucked. But that was my worst experience. So if you've got a story, throw that in the comment section. And finally, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that by hitting subscribe so you can get all of my content. I have a lot more January content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.